What a ride.
We will never, ever forget this. This is actually probably my favorite of all.
We are so excited to share this video with you. Not only will we get to relive some of our most memorable 2022 moments.
Say that 3 times fast.
I know, right? But we're really hoping that maybe it'll help you decide on your next family vacation, in case there's any particular place that we can come up with that may help you decide on
some
your
ideas.
Yep.
We were so blessed in 2022. We got to see and just experience so much of the country.
Yeah.
But these are
Really
six things that just kind of stick out for us that we're just never going to forget.
Yeah.
They're in no particular order.
Right.
But these are just things that we're hoping we can share with you. And it might give you an idea for your next family vacation.
Definitely.
And these are all slightly different. So if something doesn't interest you, something else might.
Right.
So with that said, let's get started with the first one on the list.
Yep.
Again, these are in no particular order.
Right.
Kennedy Space Center, the rocket launches.
Yeah.
This was unbelievable. We tried to get back to Florida for Christmas to spend time with family. Fortunate or luckily for us, we can stay at a place called Carlsbad Park. And it has got to be the best place, if you have an RV, to watch the rocket launches.
It's got to be, if not the best place, it's definitely one of the best.
You're straight across the river from complex, I believe it's 40, and also 39A is just a little bit north of there. So you can literally be sitting on the deck of your RV, look straight across the river, nothing in between you and the rocket but water, and watch them take off. And we were fortunate enough, we got to see about 5 or 6 of the SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket launches. Right. But I think the top everything off,
the most memorable.
The most memorable, we got to watch one of the SpaceX Falcon Heavy rocket launches, and this was just unbelievable. The difference is basically it's a bigger rocket, but the coolest thing with it, it has 2 boosters on it. Right. We got to watch the rocket, take off. You could see the boosters separate, and the coolest thing I will never forget, again, right across the water from you, we could watch the 2 boosters land side by side right in front of us. And then to top that off, you get a double sonic boom just as they're landing, and even though you're prepared for it, you're still gonna jump. I don't care who you are.
I jumped out of my skin.
Unbelievable. But in Kennedy Space Center, you got the visitor center there as well. There's a lot to do, but if you can get into Carlsbad Park, you have to be a veteran, military, a veteran, or have worked out at the Kennedy Space Center.
Or family of.
Or guest of. Yep. Yeah. So Kennedy Space Center rocket launches definitely on our list.
Definitely.
Oh, wow. There it is. Yeah. I think we got it up where we can hear it too. Oh, we definitely hear it. That looks pretty cool, doesn't it? Look at that. Wow. Those boosters. That is cool.
The next one we want to share with you is Carlsbad Caverns National Park. It is about 20 miles southwest of Carlsbad, New Mexico, and it is a good mix of cool and creepy.
Definitely.
Yeah.
This is something, we love national parks. If you watch us, you know that. This is so different than anything else we've ever done. Carlsbad Caverns is basically known for 2 things, the caves and the bats. The cave itself is just unbelievable. We've only been in a few caves and nothing like this.
Nothing like this
is
one.
just
Yeah.
blows them all away.
Yeah.
The only way I can kind of describe it is we went in. There's some ranger-led programs that will actually, you can follow a ranger into the cave.
Yeah.
We decided to go on our own. We went in what's called the natural entrance, and it allows you to see more of the cave. It's just hard to describe. I kept telling Dina, I felt like I was in a Dr. Seuss book. the formations in there, the way they did the lighting, everything is stuff we've never seen before.
Right.
Right? It's just unbelievable. You have
just
to be
to
there.
think that you're, what is it, it's like 750 feet
You're like
down?
750 feet below the surface.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Kids would really enjoy it.
Yeah, it's
the
really
natural entrance is pretty steep.
Yeah.
You have to be in decent shape or at least stable on your feet
Just
to
go
do that.
slow.
You can do the ranger-led programs. You can go down through an elevator.
Yeah.
It's all paved once you get in. And even if you do have some mobility issues, most of it is still fine.
Yeah.
It's all paved. There will be some little steep spots, but just go as far as you can go.
Yeah.
So Carlsbad Cavern, the cave is unbelievable. That was
The
probably the
pools
cool
and the
part.
formations, yeah.
Now for the
everything.
creepy part,
The creepy.
Dina didn't like this. I
Oh.
loved it. The bats.
I'll say it again. I was just really happy that I did not see almost 500,000 bats or whatever the crazy number was until after we did the hike. Because it came out of where we went in and I was like, oh my gosh. I don't think I would have been able to do it before knowing.
If you're planning a vacation out there, it's definitely worth a stop. Now the bats, to me, was really the highlight. The bats, they're most popular, I should say, the best time to see the bats would be from May to October. That's when they're most of them are there. We literally sat down and sat for about 45 minutes, and these bats just kept coming out and out and out of the cave.
That's the bat flight program.
The bat flight
we went to in the evening.
Unbelievable. No electronics. You can't sit there with electronics, but unbelievable. They estimated over 500,000 bats that came out that night.
Crazy.
Now we are doing a full-length video on Carlsbad Caverns. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, now would be a good time, and make sure you hit the notification bell as well, so you can get notified when our Carlsbad Cavern video comes out, and all the other videos as well. But
it'll be out shortly after this one anyway, but you're not going to want to miss it.
It was really cool. But Carlsbad Caverns National Park, another great place for a vacation.
For sure.
Our next highlight we want to share with you is our boat ride on Lake McDonald and Glacier National Park.
Yeah,
unbelievable. We will never forget it. There is a couple things to be aware of though for Glacier National Park. If you're going during the summer months, you do have to have reservations to get into the park.
Right.
Now we already did a couple videos on Glacier when we were there. We went into a lot of detail on the reservation system. We will put a link up here in the corner if you want to look at those as well. I don't want to go into all the same details now.
Yeah.
But Glacier National Park, unbelievable. There's a part of it just at one of the entrances called Apcar Village.
Right.
And they have boat rentals there. And you're right on Lake McDonald. It's just a huge, beautiful mountain lake.
Yeah.
Now we went there, we were gonna maybe just get like a paddle board or a kayak or something like that. Then we decided, I'm not that energetic.
You can actually rent a little power boat.
Yeah, we ended up
for
getting,
not much more money.
Yeah, we
like,
went that way.
We'll go that route.
So it was like $31 for an hour for a little John boat with a 10 horsepower on the back.
So much
we
fun.
We had a blast. Now we didn't get there till late in the day.
It is first come, first serve. They do not take reservations.
And the lady did tell us, if this is something you really want to do, get there early in the morning and get your name on the waiting list. Yeah. So you can wait 2 to 3 hours sometimes to be able to rent one of these boats or kayaks or something. So if you really want to do it, get there early, get your name on the list. We were very fortunate. We wanted to do this for 2 hours. Yeah. We could only do it for an hour. Our own fault. We didn't get there in time, and we were actually lucky to even do it.
Oh yeah, so we got the end of the day, they were closing, so we had to be back before closing.
Yeah, which was only an hour for us. But it was a blast. Yeah. When you leave Apcar Village, if you kind of head north and go to the west corner of Lake McDonald. There's like an eagle sanctuary out there.
Right.
We saw some bald eagles right on the edge of the lake, which was really, really cool. But the boat ride in Glacier National Park, unbelievable. And dogs are allowed, by the way, in the boat.
Yes.
Unbelievable experience we will never forget.
Right.
Nothing like before, so beautiful. I can't help but feel I'm a better me than I've ever been. When I open up my eyes and see the sunrise, every day's a gift and it makes me feel so alive, so alive, so alive, so alive.
Now this is one of my personal favorites.
Yeah, I know it is.
Custer State Park. Custer State Park is located in the Black Hills of South Dakota. And we've been to a number of national parks to date. And Custer State Park, we will say, gives some of the national parks a run for the money.
We were shocked, right?
Oh, boy.
Unbelievable. We actually went to Custer really to go to Mount Rushmore.
Right.
And we found out about Custer State Park, and we were so happy that we did.
Man.
But there's one thing of Custer that you really, really enjoyed, right?
My heart.
What is it?
The begging burros.
The begging burros.
Oh, man.
Unbelievable. Or they're basically wild donkeys.
Yeah.
Now these donkeys are descendants years ago, like in the 1800s. They used to use these donkeys to shuttle supplies and people up some of the mountains. When all that kind of went away over time, these donkeys ended up staying.
Yeah.
So these are, wild donkeys. They have repopulated them a few times. They had to bring in some other ones just due to disease and things like that. But they have maybe about a dozen,
about
a dozen wild donkeys. Now what we did, we actually ran into them. I shouldn't say ran into them. They ran into us. Okay, we got a surprise here. We're in Custer State Park.
Oh my God.
It's raining. We're trying to get out of here. I don't know how good you're gonna be able to see this, but we have wild donkeys in front of us. Now we have a donkey jam, Dina.
First of all, we had no idea about them.
We didn't know a thing about
them.
What we did, there's in the park, there's a road called the Wildlife Loop.
Right.
And this is where everybody goes early in the morning or at dusk and dawn. And it's about a 15-20 mile loop. You're basically driving looking for elk, buffalo, antelope, anything. This is just a great place to do it. Our first time on there, we got down to the southern part of it. We saw some donkeys walking down the side of the road. And that was pretty cool.
I think you said, look, wild horses. At first we thought they were horses from a distance.
Yeah.
And then the closer we got, we're like, they're donkeys.
They're donkeys. And again, we didn't know anything what to expect. So we drive up right next to them. They're just walking outside the road. We're taking pictures, because it was kind of neat. And we thought that was kind of the end of it. And then we got into a little bit of a traffic jam. We had to stop. All of a sudden, these donkeys start sticking their heads in our car, our truck, wanting food.
Yeah.
It was hilarious.
Oh, man, they were adorable. Yeah. And another time, we happened to have, it was a day that we rented our side-by-side.
A little side-by-side.
And the side-by-side with the begging burros is a hoot, let me tell you.
If you want to do it the right way.
That was a real trip.
Because there was nothing stopping them from getting in. So, by the way, they do like saltine crackers. Now you're getting to it.
They love saltines, they love Cheez-Its, they love peanuts.
Yeah, with all that said though, you are allowed, or I should say they don't mind you feeding the donkey. They do prefer you feed them carrots, slices of apple, things like that. They may spit the apples out and look for your crackers. But
one little boy gave his mom his apple to cut up for the donkeys, and the donkeys turned their noses up at it.
I think they're a little spoiled. But if you had small kids,
oh my gosh, so cute.
Even adults.
I was going to say, don't let Danny fool you. He enjoyed it as much as I did.
It was cool. It was neat. There was actually one time I got out of the side-by-side to take some video of Dina. I couldn't get back in because she was surrounded by about half a dozen donkeys, all of them with their heads in the side-by-side.
It was really cute.
Really, really neat. Again,
and then we got to watch them run off and roll hole in the dirt and get back
Yeah.
up and go
It was
making
cool.
their little ee-aw,
How's that go?
ee-aw, ee-aw.
Now,
cute.
they are wild,
Yeah.
so, treat them as a wild animal, but with that
Feed 'em
said,
flat-handed.
we watched families with kids, and a lot of fun.
A
So
blast.
the begging burros of Custer State Park.
Oh, we can't forget to tell later when we went into downtown, there's actually a Mexican restaurant called
The Begging Burro.
The Begging Burro, yeah.
So,
Mexican
yeah.
restaurant.
So if you go feed them, then go feed yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Begging Burros of Custer State Park, something we'll never forget.
Yeah.
Now this is one of my favorite highlights of 2022, the elk of Rocky Mountain National Park. First of all, I love elk. I just think
Anyway,
they're
you always
a
have.
cool animal. I always have. I love watching them. But the elk of Rocky Mountain National Park, if you go there during their mating season, it's called the rut, usually somewhere between September and October in that time frame, you're going to be in for a show. And I'm not exaggerating. We were in places in Moraine Park watching a few hundred elk, and we felt like we were at a football game with people tailgating, right?
Yeah.
There was, I'm guessing, maybe 50-ish cars parked on the side of the road. There was people with their lounge chairs out, having little picnics, setting up, and you could tell they do this all the time.
time.
Just
They
watching
know.
the elk, and the elk put on a show.
Yeah.
To listen to them bugle, to watch the big, these massive bulls, I'm guessing up to 1,000 pounds,
Yeah.
chasing, their harem or the does around and sparring with other bulls and
Yeah.
just listening to them bugle. Unbelievable.
It's listening to how Danny is describing it is one thing, but to actually be there and see it and experience it, it is like
We'll never forget it.
nothing else you will ever experience in your life.
Definitely.
It is unbelievable.
And we were fortunate enough, Dina may not think so, but we were fortunate enough to get to go we tent camped one night in Rocky Mountain National
I'm
Park.
still
Trying to thaw out from that. But to lay in your tent, pitch black, and to listen to the elk bugle all around you. When I say all around you, they're in the campground.
Yeah.
They're literally, during that day, they were literally in the next site
Yeah.
over from us.
Yeah.
So that's how close up you are to some of these
Yeah.
elk. Unbelievable. We will never forget it.
I'll never forget it. I'll never let you forget it because it was freezing cold and it was raining.
Other than that,
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun. It was just unbelievable.
It was an experience.
But the elk of Rocky Mountain National Park, something we will just never forget.
Right. This next one is something we both all three of us, including Rodeo,
enjoyed it
really
too.
enjoyed. We were in Cody, Wyoming, and we drove 30 miles south to Matisse, Wyoming. It's a population of 327 people, if that tells you anything. It is out in the middle of nowhere.
Definitely.
Beautiful country. But we rented a side-by-side, a Polaris, and we took it to
Kirwin
Ghost Town. How fun. What a ride.
We will never, ever forget
No.
this. This is actually probably my
Yeah.
favorite of all. We enjoyed this so much. We've told so many people about this that, hey, if you're ever in Cody, we feel that it's definitely worth the trip.
the drive.
But we took this side by side, so Polaris 1000. We took it to Kirwin Ghost Town. Now Kirwin it was an old mining town in the 1800s, and it's about a 30 to 40 mile drive from where you start
in
to the
Matisse.
town itself. You're out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
They give you like a little emergency phone thing.
Right.
You're out in the middle of nowhere. But the ride to Kirwin is half the adventure.
I don't want anyone else, 'cause I know there's not anyone else that makes me feel the way
It's unbelievable, and you
Beautiful
actually go
country.
past an old resort called the Double D Resort Ranch. Is that what it was?
No, it's not a resort. It's a ranch.
Yeah, it's not a resort anymore.
No.
But they still have the lodge is still there, and some of the outcropping cabins are there as well. And the cool thing about this place is Amelia Earhart stayed there a few times, and you can actually go inside the cabin where Amelia Earhart stayed.
We're sitting on the front porch. We're waiting for Amelia Earhart. We've been waiting for quite a while.
Yes, we have.
But I guess this is her view. She would have, if she was out here today, this is what she would see. Nice little view.
Believe it or not, she enjoyed this part of the country and the Kirwin area so much, she started to build a cabin just outside of the Kirwin ghost town, or back then, of course, the mining town.
On the creek.
Her cabin just got started when she disappeared, but we actually did a full-length video on Kirwin as well. You can check that out if you get a chance for all the details. Unbelievable experience.
The scenery and the terrain, so much fun. You get to see cows.
Yeah, Rodeo enjoyed
Rodeo
parking
really
the
loved
cows.
the cows.
But even once you get to Kirwin, it's a whole new adventure starting in. The mining town, there's a lot of buildings still there. There's a lot of equipment still there. In the middle of nowhere. If you're fortunate enough, you could be the only people out there and just enjoy it for yourself. But the ride, the Double D Ranch, the ghost town, the ride back.
Very fun.
If you had little kids,
they'd have a blast.
They would be the envy of all their friends.
In fact, we saw some kids there. They were playing hide and seek with rodeo. It was really funny.
And through some of the old buildings and stuff. So it was really, really
One
cool.
thing that we should mention, though, is there is a place in Cody, in the town Cody, that you can do rent the side-by-sides. But your time to drive the 30 miles south.
Metisi's about 30 miles south of Cody. So if you were to rent these from Cody, you have to drive the side-by-side, the 30 miles.
Yeah,
and
so
then
it takes up your time.
Yeah, so it was actually easier just to rent from Metisi.
Yeah,
so,
really fun.
Unbelievable. It's definitely something we will never, ever forget.
We really enjoyed sharing this video with you. Hopefully you got an idea for maybe your next family vacation, or your just little getaway for yourself.
And if you do happen to go on one of these things that we talked about, please let us know. Leave the comments below and let us know what you thought about them. Let us know if you enjoyed them as much as we did. We will never forget these places.
Never. We hope you enjoyed today's video. We really enjoyed sharing it with you. We hope you have a great week and stay safe.
Remember, always live life to the fullest.
Safe travels and God bless.